welcome to today's deep dive. We're spending some time today with a pretty fascinating essay from November 2022.
Yeah, it's a really interesting piece of writing.
Right, so it's written by an author named Zhu Feng, and it's titled "Strength is the Guarantee of Dignity." And just for some quick background, the translation we're working from was done by Kinyu, and it was edited by Peter.
Exactly. And, the mission for our conversation today is to figure out how we actually earn respect.
Yeah.
Because the text promises this complete reframing of what it means to be a truly respected person. It offers like a formula to avoid feeling undervalued in a world that seems just completely obsessed with superficial status.
Right, which I think we can all relate to. So to start us off, I want you, the listener, to just picture a scenario for a second. Have you ever noticed how someone with a truly impressive job title can walk into a room and instantly command, like absolute fear, but zero actual respect?
Oh, absolutely. We've all seen that.
Right. Like the door swings open, the boss walks in, and the entire room just goes dead silent.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop.
But it's not that awestruck, reverent silence. It's that tight-lipped, eyes glued to the laptop, please don't notice me kind of silence.
The kind where everyone just nods and agrees with whatever is said.
Exactly. But the second that person leaves the room, the eye-rolling begins.
Oh, yeah. The group chat immediately lights up.
Right. Because they have the title, and they have the power to fire people, but they do not have anyone's actual respect. So today, we're going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how you can make sure it never happens to you.
Because it is a dynamic we see constantly, right? I mean, from corporate boardrooms to political arenas, and even, honestly, in our personal relationships.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Because as human beings, we possess this deep, instinctive desire to live with dignity. We fundamentally want to be valued by the people around us.
Yeah.
But the friction comes from the fact that we almost always look for that dignity in the wrong places.
We chase the wrong things.
Exactly. We chase the title, the corner office, or, the social media following. We operate under this assumption that those external markers will somehow act as a permanent shield against being undervalued.
And the essay we're looking at today basically argues that this assumption is entirely backward.
Completely backward.
So to understand the author's alternative, we first have to look at the, honestly, incredibly rigid equation the text uses to define dignity.
Yeah, the author does not mince words here.
No, not at all. The core concept is that dignity simply means being respected and not being insulted. Full stop. The author states it very plainly. If no one respects you, and you are often bullied, that proves you have no dignity.
It's a harsh truth, but yeah, that's the baseline.
Right. Therefore, dignity relies entirely on one specific variable, and the author calls this variable strength.
Strength.
So the equation is presented almost like an absolute law of nature, right? Without strength, there is no dignity. And the more strength you have, the higher the value of your dignity.
And that equation sets the foundation for the whole essay. But the way Zhu Feng actually defines this top-level strength is where this text really demands a closer reading.
Yeah, because it gets a little wild here.
It does, because the author provides a specific list of entities that possess this strength and therefore possess dignity. And the list is, well, it includes the King of Hell.
Which is quite a start.
Right. King of Hell, Nobel Prize winners, billionaires like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, and the President of the United States.
Okay, so let's just pause there because we really need to unpack this.
I know, it's a lot.
Grouping the mythological fear of the king of hell right next to the, intellectual achievement of a Nobel winner, and then the tech wealth of Musk and Gates and the political power of the U.S. president. It is a very strange mix.
It's an incredibly eclectic group.
And just to be totally clear to you listening, the author isn't making a statement here about whether these are, objectively good or bad people.
No, not at all.
Right, and they aren't endorsing their specific politics or their business tactics. We're just reporting what the essay says. These are just being used as prime examples of entities that hold strike.
Exactly.
But I still have to ask, how does the text logically equate a mythological demon, a scientist, and a politician? Are they really wielding the exact same type of strength?
Well, they are, but only through the very specific lens the author uses to define the word.
Okay, break that down for me.
Because Zhu Feng isn't talking about, physical muscles here. And in this specific section, he isn't even talking about moral goodness.
Right.
The text describes strength as a kind of Potential energy.
Potential energy, okay.
Yeah, think of it in terms of astrophysics. Like, Jupiter has more gravity than the Earth simply because it has more mass.
Right.
It exerts a force on everything around it just by existing. So the king of hell, a tech billionaire, a U.S. president in the author's framework, these entities represent a massive, undeniable gravitational pull.
Ah, I see.
They are daunting. Their mere presence alters the landscape around them. And because of that potential energy, they command a baseline level of respect. Like, you just cannot ignore them.
So it operates almost like pure unavoidable weight.
Yes.
Like if you were standing next to a boulder the size of a house, you have to respect the boulder. You can't just pretend it isn't there because its mass dictates the entire environment.
That's a great way to put it. That is the baseline definition. But that actually creates a rather depressing paradox for the listener.
How so?
Well, think about it. If the president of the United States has strength, and if billionaires have strength, does that mean strength just equals status?
Oh, I see where you're going.
Right. Does it just equal having infinite money or holding the highest possible title? Because if that is the case, the author's formula for dignity basically means the remaining 99% of humanity is doomed to be completely devoid of dignity.
Yeah, that would be pretty bleak.
Mm-hmm.
But that is exactly the trap the text anticipates, actually. Because right after citing those massive figures, the essay immediately pivots. It explicitly warns us that true strength is absolutely not what we typically think it is.
It draws a very clear line.
It really does. It draws a hard boundary, saying true strength is an internal power. It is earned entirely by actions, not by mere talk, and definitely not by, like, quarrels or squabbles.
Yeah, the text is absolutely adamant that strength has nothing to do with interpersonal relationships or your social status.
None of it.
And to prove this, the author gives us vivid examples of what false strength looks like.
Right, the fake stuff.
Exactly. Picture cruel officials using their bureaucratic power to suppress people, or, soldiers pointing guns just to get their way.
Yeah.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, picture people trying to gain favor through constant flattery, like fawning over the boss or adopting these self-demeaning behaviors just to project themselves as agreeable.
Oh, man, we all know someone like that.
Right, and all of those, according to the author, are illusions of strength. The author even circles back to the president example to clarify it.
Oh, right. This part was fascinating.
The text states that even if you become a president, if you lack this true internal strength, people will only bow to your face.
Yep.
Behind your back, they will actually ridicule and despise you.
Which goes back to the boss walking into the room from earlier. The psychological difference between compliance and respect is just so crucial here.
It really is the core of it.
Because status, like the soldier holding the gun or the boss who can fire you, that creates compliance. People will do what you say. They won't dare offend you to your face because, well, they fear the consequences.
Right, they don't want to get fired or shot.
Exactly. But internally, they might totally despise you. Compliance is forced. But true strength, according to Xu Feng, commands an emotional expression of respect directly from the heart.
From the heart, yes.
It isn't forced. It's surrendered willingly because the other person recognizes your undeniable internal power.
And this is where the author introduces what I think is a brilliant analogy to explain how that internal power actually functions.
Yeah, it is with it.
The essay says, and I'll quote it, "Just as immunity has no bearing on interpersonal relationships, strength is also unrelated to them."
Okay, here is where it gets really interesting for me. That line clarifies the entire mechanism.
Right.
Think about trying to fight off a physical, biological virus by, like, hiring a world-class PR team.
Which would be ridiculous.
Right. You get infected and you try to negotiate with the illness. You say, wait, virus, you can't attack me. I know the CEO. I have incredible networking skills. Look at my LinkedIn connections.
The virus does not care about your LinkedIn.
Exactly. The virus does not care. Your popularity, your interpersonal relationships, and your title cannot negotiate with a microscopic pathogen.
No.
The only thing that can negotiate with a virus is your actual biological immune system.
That's right.
And the author is arguing that social dignity works the exact same way. You cannot network your way to true dignity.
No.
You cannot flatter your way out of being insulted. You either have the internal immunity, the strength, or you don't.
Which fundamentally changes how we view office politics, doesn't it? Or really any social dynamic where we feel undervalued.
Oh, completely.
Because when we feel disrespected, our first instinct is often to manipulate the external environment.
Right. We argue louder.
We argue louder, we try to form alliances, or we just complain to everyone about the lack of respect. But using the immunity metaphor, all of that is just PR.
It's all external noise.
It's just noise. If you want the virus of disrespect to stop affecting you, you have to build the internal antibodies.
Which brings us to the most practical part of today's deep dive. If status and networking and screaming the loudest and even being a president don't automatically grant you this immunity-like internal strength,
Right.
then how does an ordinary person actually get it? Like, if I can't just print a new business card to get dignity, what is the actual blueprint?
Well, the essay provides a very specific 3-step methodology for building this true strength.
Okay, walk us through it.
So the blueprint is highly systematic. Step 1 is learning.
Learning.
Yeah. The author describes this as accumulating rich connotations. And the text offers this guiding principle. It says, one who is filled with knowledge always behaves with elegance.
Okay, accumulating rich connotations sounds a little bit academic.
It does, yeah.
What does that actually look like for someone trying to apply this in their daily life?
Think of it as building deep, undeniable substance.
Okay.
It means moving beyond surface-level talking points and actually understanding the mechanics of your field or your passions or your personal philosophy.
Right.
It is the raw material of competence. If you only have superficial knowledge, you are fragile. But if you have deep, rich connotations, you possess a foundational stability.
That makes sense.
But learning is only the first step. Step 2 is practice.
Practice.
Yes. This means taking that internal theoretical knowledge and embodying it in the real world with realistic images. You can't just read about a concept, you have to forge it through action.
You have to actually get your hands dirty.
Precisely. You have to do the thing. And that leads to the final and most critical phase.
Which is?
Step 3 is application. And this is really the crux of Schweffing's philosophy. Application means using your practice knowledge to benefit others.
Benefit others.
Yes. The text states that the greater the benefit you provide to others, the stronger the proof of your strength. And consequentially, the more respect you gain.
Okay, and the examples the author provides for this 3-step blueprint are what really ground this entire philosophy for me.
They are so specific.
They really are. Because remember in the first section we were talking about the king of hell, Elon Musk in the present.
The massive boulders.
Right. Well, listen to the list the author gives here to prove that the more skilled you are, the more powerful you are.
Go for it.
The essay says you build this undeniable strength if you play the flute well, or if you play the air hu well,
Right.
if you grow vegetables well, if you do a good job of cleaning and sanitary work, if you produce high-quality products, teach well, treat diseases, or save lives in a timely and effective manner.
It's quite a shift.
It is. The author also includes making vigorous efforts to turn the tide at critical moments. And finally, the text frames simply having excellent character as a manifestation of human strength.
It's a profound leveling of how we assign value in society.
Yeah.
The text is basically placing the sanitation worker and the head of state on the exact same theoretical spectrum.
Which is amazing, but I do understand the theory. But let's push back on this a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
A guy growing cabbages in his backyard or someone swooping a floor doesn't really command a room like a tech billionaire.
Right.
Can a janitor really possess the exact same fundamental potential energy as a Nobel Prize winner? I mean, it sounds highly democratic, which is nice, but maybe it's a bit naive to how the real world actually operates.
I get that. It definitely sounds naive until you examine the underlying mechanism of how mastery actually functions. Because the author's ultimate point is that any quality or connotation that wins people's respect comes from strength, regardless of the domain.
Regardless of the domain.
Right. So whether you are a head of state trying to turn the tide in a global geopolitical crisis, or you're a sanitation worker cleaning a hospital room to prevent a deadly infection, the mechanism is identical.
Oh, I see.
You are applying your learned practice to provide a tangible benefit to others. If that sanitation worker possesses absolute, uncompromising mastery over their domain, nobody can tell them how to do their job.
Right, they're the authority in that room.
They hold the power in that interaction. Excellence in any domain creates internal power. It makes you a boulder that cannot be ignored within your specific context.
Okay, so how does growing a good cabbage or perfectly cleaning a room actually protect you from an insult, though? Like, if a cruel boss walks in and yells at that master sanitation worker, the insult still happens, doesn't it?
The insult happens externally, yes,
Hmm.
but it fails to penetrate internally.
Back to the immunity.
Exactly. This goes right back to the immunity metaphor. Insults and disrespect prey on insecurity.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Well,
If your self-worth is tied entirely to your job title, then a demotion or an insult from a superior just destroys you. You have no immunity.
you're completely vulnerable.
But if your self-worth is tied to the undeniable fact that you provide a high-quality product or that you execute your craft with absolute mastery, the insult just bounces off.
Because you know your objective value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't need the boss's validation to know the floor is perfectly clean or that the vegetable is perfectly grown. Your strength is self-evident.
So their lack of respect reflects poorly on them, not on you.
Bingo. You maintain your dignity.
That makes perfect sense. The virus of disrespect can infect you because your actions and your skills have built this sort of impenetrable wall of objective reality.
Yes.
And it applies to character just as much as tangible skills, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because the text emphasizes that character itself is a manifestation of this strength. If you possess excellent character, if you are honest, reliable, and kind, you will be respected and live a dignified life.
Yeah.
But just like playing an instrument or growing a garden, character has to be proven through consistent action. You don't get to just claim you have good character. You have to actually demonstrate it. You have to apply it to benefit others.
And when you consistently demonstrate that character, the respect follows automatically.
That's unavoidable.
It is. It cannot be forced, but it also cannot be withheld. When someone does their job, any job, with that level of care and mastery, or navigates a difficult situation with unwavering integrity, you can't help but respect them.
Right?
You feel it in your heart, just like the author described earlier. You see a beautifully grown garden, or you witness someone standing up for what is right, and you feel that respect bubble up naturally. You don't respect them because they demanded it, or because they wield authority over you. You respect them because their internal strength is undeniably present in the work they just did.
Wow. So looking at the full scope of this deep dive, Shufang's essay really challenges almost every instinct we have about navigating the professional and social world.
It flips it on its head.
It does. We started by looking at a reality where we assume dignity is inextricably linked to titles or financial wealth, or how loudly we can assert dominance in a room.
Right, the external stuff.
We operate under the illusion that if we just get the right promotion or network with the right people, we will finally be shielded from being undermined.
Yeah.
But true dignity is an internal immune system. It isn't found in who you flatter, and it certainly isn't found in the status you wield like a club to force compliance.
Never.
It is found strictly in your actions. It is found in your ability to take a skill, whether that is coding software, teaching a classroom of kids, playing music, or growing vegetables and mastering it so deeply that it provides a real, tangible benefit to others.
That's beautifully said.
That mastery is your strength, and that strength is the only true guarantee of your dignity.
It is a highly demanding framework, honestly, because it places the responsibility for dignity entirely on our own shoulders.
Yeah, you can't blame anyone else.
But it's also deeply empowering. However, there is one final provocation I want to leave you with, something to mull over that builds on Shufang's logic.
Okay, I love a good provocation. What is it?
Well, throughout this essay, the author heavily anchors the value of dignity on external validation.
Okay.
The text explicitly states, the more people respect you, the greater the value of your dignity. And it argues that benefiting others is the ultimate proof of your strength.
Right, we just talked about that.
Exactly. The entire third-step application requires an interaction with the outside world.
Right. Benefiting others implies there are others around to actually receive the benefit.
Exactly. So consider the scenario. What if you possess immense internal strength, profound knowledge, and absolutely perfect character, yet you live completely isolated from society?
Oh, interesting.
Imagine you spend years mastering the soil, and you manage to grow the single most perfect, nourishing vegetable in human history.
The ultimate cabbage.
The ultimate cabbage. But you are alone on a deserted island. There is no one around to benefit from your harvest.
Yeah.
There is no one around to witness your mastery, to feel that emotional expression of respect from their heart.
Right.
Do you still have dignity? Is the strength still there if it exerts its gravitational pull on nothing? Or does true strength, and therefore true dignity, fundamentally require an audience to exist?
Wow, that is the ultimate, if a tree falls in a forest, question applied to human worth.
It really is.
Can you possess undeniable gravity if there are no other planets in your orbit? Or does the very nature of dignity demand connection and community?
Something to think about.
That is an incredible thought to walk away with today. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the mechanics of respect. As you go out into the world today, take a closer look at the rooms you walk into. Notice who demands fear and who naturally commands respect through their actions. And more importantly, look at your own daily practice. Stop worrying about your title, stop trying to negotiate with the virus, and go build your internal immunity.